Jillian had left directly from work, so she was a little early for her appointment. Megan's secretary led her into the office and pointed to one of the comfortable chairs grouped around the room. Jillian had to smile. This room was so Megan. A highly polished antique desk on one side of the room with a single picture on it. Framed certificates hanging on the wall behind the desk. One wall covered with bookcases filled with books, according to author's last name. Even the file cabinets were neatly closed and probably locked, quite unlike Jillian's office during the day, which had files lying all over the open drawers of the file cabinets. She laughed. "It's nice to hear you laugh, Jillian. What were you thinking?" Megan had just entered the room, all 5'0" and 95 pounds, wearing a navy blue suit with a blue shirt with small white dots with navy blue pumps. Her auburn hair cut in a stylish bob. The only thing out of place was her oversized, colorful peacock earrings, a gift from her late husband. Jillian had to smile again. They were so different. Megan so petite, and everything around her screaming neatness and class, and then 6-foot-tall Jillian with wild dark hair at this moment was trying to come out of the bun she wore to work. "I was just thinking how completely opposite you and I are." Megan crossed over to the chair from Jillian and crossed her legs toward Jillian. That's another thing Jillian liked about Megan. While the other two shrinks Jillian had gone to, Megan never sat at the desk or took notes. Megan sat across from Jillian and they talked like true friends. "I totally agree with you about the two of us being completely opposite physically, but I think we're very much alike when it comes to our intellectual processing and behaviors," stated Megan. Jillian hooted. "You've got to be kidding me. Here, you are doing the job you wanted and remarried, and hell, you're even thinking of starting a family. Little different than where I'm at. I can't even start the morning without bawling my brains out." Megan leaned forward and touched Jillian's hand. Megan had never done that before, and it felt good. "Wait 8 more years and see if you feel the same way," uttered Megan. "I'm going to confide in you because I think my story will help you. I never tell my clients about my personal life." Megan leaned back in her chair and paused for a moment. "When Rowan died," and Megan unconsciously fingered one of her earrings, "I thought my life was over. I dropped out of the master's program and hardly left our little apartment. I lived on junk food, gained 50 pounds, and lived in a pair of pajamas until they were stiff enough to walk by themselves." Jillian thought Megan was kidding, but there was no happiness on Megan's face. "What happened to make you want to change?" asked Jillian. "My mother," answered Megan. "Well, that sure ain't gonna happen with me," laughed Jillian bitterly, thinking of her stone mother, who left Jillian in charge of her 2 younger sisters when Jillian was just 10. Yeah, her dad was there, but he always was drunk. The only good he was in bringing home a paycheck sometimes if he hadn't stopped at a bar first. Megan continued as if she hadn't even heard Jillian, deep in her own thoughts. "One day my mother comes flying in the apartment, tore open the dusty curtains in all the rooms and exposed my lifestyle. Dust was so thick on the furniture after 2 years it didn't even fly up when she opened all the windows. Unwashed clothes and takeout bags, boxes and cartons, cans and bottles were laying all over the floor and the furniture. The sink was full of dirty plates, glasses, and cups, and I was wrapped up in a dirty comforter like a cocoon. I felt so embarrassed that I started crying because I never realized how far I had fallen." She paused. "Mom told me to get my lazy butt off the couch and take a shower, wash my hair and dress in something clean and nice because we were going out for dinner at a swanky restaurant." Jillian rolled her eyes. "Yes, I know, she actually said swanky," Megan continued. "She treated me like the stubborn 5-year-old I was acting like. By the time I got back in the kitchen, and I must admit it felt good to have clean body, hair, and clothes, Mom had picked up the kitchen and had several black garbage bags filled. She had brought the bags with her. I remember taking them out to the dumpster for the first time in 2 years. By the time I got back to the kitchen, I remember Mom removing the dusty curtains and opening all the windows. She had made a pot of tea and had found some packaged cookies that weren't too stale. We sat at the kitchen table and talked for 4 hours. First, she apologized for not being a good mother and checking up on me. She said she hadn't been feeling too well and was tied up with the younger kids. What she didn't tell me at that time, and waited to tell me until I was stronger, was that she was dying of pancreatic cancer. Jillian gasped. My mother was an incredibly wise woman, and I knew I couldn't have handled the news yet. I had to get strong in myself. She had not been there for me because she was undergoing surgeries and chemotherapies. In my selfishness, I just felt she didn't care. My mother told me she knew exactly how I felt. I hadn't thought for a long time about the death of my biological father because I always thought of my stepfather as Dad. My biological father was killed in a fatal car accident when I was 3. My mother said she wanted to do exactly what I did, withdraw from the world, but she couldn't because she had someone else to care for, me. She credited her love for me in motivating her to find a life. She moved out of their small apartment and moved in with her parents. Grams and Poppy took care of me while Mom worked at a grocery store during the day and attended night classes to become an RN. As soon as she got her license and a job in a doctor's office, we moved into a little house. After a few years, she married the doctor and gave me a sister and brother. My mother did what she had to do to get me moving. Sometimes it was just listening, and other times a firm push, like signing me up with a personal trainer to lose the 50 pounds I put on in 2 years. That's what I want to do with you. It's been 3 years, and you need to live in the present and not the past. I know you will always love him, but he's dead, and you're very much alive. At least you have a job, which I hate, interrupted Jillian. Megan ignored the interruption. Have you thought about the decision I asked you to make? That's all I thought about this week, declared Jillian. What decision did you come up with? Are you going to move from your condo or find a new job? Asked Megan. I decided to move. My friends are all at work and I don't want to leave them. The condo was all Wheeler. He loved the industrial look, all metal and glass. I'm more a traditional type with overstuffed chairs and dark woods. The problem is, I don't know how to get moving. Where would you want to live? Near the city center, a quiet street, or maybe even in the suburbs? Would you prefer a condo, an apartment, a duplex, or a house? Jillian paused for a moment, going over the options in her mind. I want a house. Nothing fancy, just something with a little yard so I can plant flowers. I'd like it in town on a quiet street. Ever since I saw Gone with the Wind, I wanted a large white house with columns, a wraparound porch, and a screened-in patio with 5 bedrooms. Wheeler would be cutting the lawn and I'd be working with the flowers in the garden. Megan hated to interrupt Jillian because for the first time since Megan met her, Jillian was animated and her eyes sparkled, but this was getting them nowhere. Dreams change, interrupted Megan. The problem, sighed Jillian, is that I don't know how to get started. I can help you with that, said Megan. When you get home, go on your laptop and look up realty agencies and see who the agents are and check out what they have on market. They even have pictures or videos of the houses, so you get a good idea. I could give you the name of our realtor, but you have to find someone who you're comfortable with. Do you have the money for a down payment? Asked Megan. Money is not a problem. Dying when you're young with a ton of inexpensive premium insurances, Wheeler has left me with enough money for 3 lifetimes and enough stocks and bonds to keep generating money for many more lifetimes. But don't tell my relation. They'd all be down bumming off me. No one, even my friends, realize how well off I am. That's good. One less thing to get in your way. I'll be anxious to see next week how the house search is going. Me too. sighed Jill.